Hi, I'm Sydney and I write eatingnosedetail.com. I'm going to make a quick chicken liver pate. We're going to start by cleaning the livers. You want to get rid of these chunks of fat and kind of sinew that are attached to most of them. And then you want to marinate it in a couple tablespoons of sherry overnight. Once the livers have marinated overnight, we're going to start the cooking process by melting butter and sautéing some shallots. These are going to take 3 or 4 minutes until they become translucent. Once the shallots have started taking on a little bit of color, we're going to add our liver, and we want them to use a big pan and add them in a single layer so they don't crowd and sweat. This is still over medium heat too. And we're going to cook them until they start to take on a little bit of color. You want them firm but not dry. So it'll take, 4 to 8 minutes depending on the size of your liver and your pan and the heat you have them under. When the chicken livers are almost ready so that they're firm but they'll still be a little bit oozy, you want to add just a little bit of the sherry you used to marinate it. It kind of like deglazes a little bit. Not too much, like less than a tablespoon, I'd say. At this point, it's better to undercook the liver a little bit than overcook it, because we're actually going to put it back in a warm pan while we're mashing them. So they'll have another opportunity to cook through, but if you overcook the liver at this stage before you chop it, you're going to get chunks of dry liver, and you kind of want a more, I want a more smoother consistency. You can do whatever you want. So when they're warm enough to handle, you just want to give them a rough chop, and see they're still a little pink, which is what you want. And I haven't seasoned at all up to this point with salt or pepper or anything. The reason is you don't want to season raw liver with salt because they'll get tough and they'll turn gray. So I'm going to season with salt and pepper and a little bit of cider vinegar once I return them to the pan to kind of do their last mash and cook. Okay, so at this point you want to put the whole thing back into the pan that's just been kind of left over low heat with all the liver juice and the sherry and the shallots. So I'm just adding a good pinch of salt and a little bit of pepper. And at this stage, I like to add a little bit of acid, so cider vinegar or even lemon juice, just a drop. It just kind of cuts some of the liver flavor that people tend to not like. So. And now you just kind of mash it over the heat until it's how you like it, until it looks like something you want to eat. You should see a little bit of steam coming off the bottom of your pan because you do want, in case there were undercooked bits, to get it right up to temperature. So this is over like a medium low, not quite low, just above low. And just for like, I don't know, aesthetics, I like to go in little bits and try and push out all the air bubbles. So there's no air bubbles. You can see through the side of the dish. And especially if you're going to put gelatin on, you want to make sure to smooth out the top. At this point, we're just going to put it in the fridge to chill. And if you're going to add gelatin, you want to let it sit overnight first. And what we're going to do is take 1 envelope of gelatin and just bloom it. So you're just going to pour it over the top and it'll start to bloom. You're going to know exactly what's going on when you see it. And to let it fully bloom, you're going to want to let it sit for, I don't know, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, just until it's not jiggly anymore. So it's been a few minutes and you can see like our gelatin is fully bloomed. There's like no movement left. And we're going to take the bloomed gelatin and just drop it into a hot water bath to melt. So when your gelatin's melted, or your sherry gelatin, it'll take like 5 minutes to fully melt it. You want it in total liquid consistency. We're going to pour this bloomed melted gelatin into a pan of hot sherry. So the total liquid between these two dishes, the gelatin and a hot sherry is a cup. And 1 envelope of gelatin. We'll set 1 cup of liquid. So now you take your sherry mixture over your chilled liver. And I like to pour it over a spoon so it doesn't make a dent right in the middle. I like to add just a sliced cornichon. And then it goes in the fridge overnight. This is the final product. It's had a chance to set overnight. It's totally firm. And I think this dish would be great to bring on a picnic or something like that. And I like to serve it with bread. It's very self-contained. I hope you enjoy it.